Hi guys, Amy here, also known as Hidden Treasure Picker here on YouTube. In case you're new to my channel, I'm an online reseller. I sell mainly on eBay and I also sell a little bit on Poshmark and Mercari as well. I'm going to do another what sold video for you guys today. Today's video will go over sales between August 12th and the 18th. We've got 14 sales that I want to go over, and there's some pretty decent ones in here, so stick around for that. Alright guys, let's go ahead and go over these sales. Mainly the sales were on eBay, which is typical for us. Normally most of our sales do come from eBay. We just usually have maybe a sprinkling of a few Poshmark and Mercari here and there. Don't typically get a ton on either one of those platforms. So eBay is our main selling platform. So usually most of our sales come from eBay, and most of the sales that I usually go over in these videos then obviously are the ones from eBay. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with a pretty good sale. The first one I want to talk about is this Vince cardigan sweater. So this was a men's sweater. Vince is a pretty decent brand. I don't find it that often in my area, but it is a good brand to be on the lookout for, and this is why. Found this for $4.86 at Goodwill, and it ended up selling on eBay for $65. So, a really high dollar amount for a clothing piece, and I was really excited, obviously, about this sale. Next, we'll go over another pretty good sale. This one was for this pair of men's Nike Shox tennis shoes. Found these for $3.39 at the bins, and they ended up selling for $63.98 on eBay. I've talked to you guys about the bins before, but in case you haven't heard of them or haven't seen my channel before, the bins is where you pay for everything by the pound instead of paying for each item individually. I like sourcing at the bins, especially for things like shoes. That's typically what I pick up at the bins. Personally, they have a lot of other things. A lot of sellers will find clothes at the bins. I find that to be very tedious, the way that the clothes bins are, at least at my bins. I don't know how they are at other people's, but basically, it's kids' clothes and women's clothes and men's clothes could all be, mixed together in each bin, and there's a ton of clothing bins at my Goodwill outlet. It just seems too time consuming to me to dig through. The shoes is a little different, because yes, there's still going to be men's, women's, and kids' shoes, but obviously you can't fit as many shoes in a bin as you can clothes. So there's not quite as many, and we only typically have 4 bins of shoes at a time, so it's a little less tedious and time consuming to go through. That's just me personally. There's lots of other things you can find at the bins, and I have found other things at the bins before. Typically not too many clothes. I've only tried that a couple times, and didn't have that much luck, to be honest. But sometimes I will find other types of hard goods, but I just seem to have the most luck with shoes. So yeah, that was another really good sale. So yeah. Next, we have this Nike Pitt University polo shirt. This was brand new with the tag still attached. Found this at a thrift store for only $1 and sold for $23.98. Next, we have this Travis Matthew golf polo shirt. This I found for $5.44 at Goodwill, and it sold for $19 on eBay. So not the greatest flip, but Travis Matthew is a very good golf brand to be on the lookout for. Just keep in mind that sometimes, it may sell for more around the $20 mark or so. It's not going to be something that's going to be tremendous typically. So depending on what your particular margins are, you may or may not pick this up. I usually pick up Travis Matthew because I know it is a desirable brand that people are looking out for. Next were these Michael Kors ballet flats. Found these for $1.05 at the bins, and they ended up selling for $28. However, the buyer has since received them and said they didn't fit, so they opened a return, unfortunately, and I will be getting those back. So that is, disappointing. But obviously, I just wanted to bring that up because things like that do happen. You can get returns on eBay. And so I just wanted to still mention this sale because I wanted to bring that up. That obviously there's going to be times that you're going to get returns on eBay. And whether it's because it's something that the buyer says didn't fit or for other reasons, there could be lots of reasons. Sometimes they just decide they don't like it. You may have to take that return back. Now, you can run your store and your business as a no returns. Here's the problem with that. eBay typically forces you to take returns anyway, because all a person has to do as the customer is claim that the item was not as described. If they claim item not as described, then eBay will still force you to take the return. And on top of it, then you are going to have to pay the return shipping back as well. So while it's disappointing to get returns when you offer returns, most of the time it's better if they at least say it didn't fit or they didn't like it, because they are going to be the one paying for the return shipping. Unless you happen to offer free return shipping. We do not. So yeah, that's, again, it's all in whatever business model you want to use. But the point of this is that, yes, this was a pretty good sale. I mean, paying $1 for these at the bins and selling them for $28 was awesome. And then the heartbreak comes when they get it and they say, oh, they didn't fit and I want to return them. So now, so much for that good sale. I'm sure they'll sell again, but in the meantime, have to take them back and refund the customer. So that kind of stinks. But that's just part of doing business on eBay. All right, next we have the Skechers shoes. These are Skechers Go Walk shoes. I've paid $1.69 for these at the bins, and they sold for $18. So again, nothing crazy, but when I can pick these kind of shoes up for, only a little over $1, and they can sell for $18, that's still great. I typically wouldn't buy these kind of shoes, at a normal Goodwill, a normal thrift store, where they're going to be priced up a little bit, because I know that they are not going to sell for a ton. But I will always pick up shoes like this at the bins because I can get them at such a low cost. Next are these men's Merrell canvas loafers. Paid only $1.05 for these at the bins, and they sold for $29. Next are these 7 men's jeans. Paid $4.26 for these at our local thrift store, and they ended up selling for $18. Now, I actually had found several pairs of these jeans in the exact same size at my thrift store. I think it was like 4 pairs of them, and I can't remember if this is my last pair or if maybe I still have at least one more, but I know I have sold at least a couple pairs before, if not like 3 of them. So even though they didn't sell for a ton, it was still, nice to find so many of the same kind and the same size. I'm pretty sure that 2 of them did sell to the same buyer. So I think they bought 2 pairs because, like I said, they were the same brand and the same size. So that was a pretty cool thing. But yeah, like I said, I think this might have been my last pair. So still did pretty decent with those. All right, next is this Bath & Body Works Endless Weekend body cream. I lotted these into a lot of 5 of the body creams and didn't have any costs into these, at least not recently. Probably bought these on sale myself, like a Bath & Body Works, semi-annual sale or something like that. We probably bought these ourselves, and like a while back, just decided we weren't really using them. We didn't need them. We didn't need this many. Whatever the case, we have done that with some things that we've bought for ourselves. And so, yeah, I don't know how much they would have cost in the first place, but probably not that much. and they ended up selling for $55.98. So again, another really good sale. All right, next is this Marucci. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Marucci Cat 8 baseball bat. This I bought for only $2 at a garage sale, and it sold for $50. In my last What Sold video, I talked about the other baseball bat that I bought at this same sale for also only $2. So I sold both of those within like a week of each other. And I think I only had them listed for maybe a week or two at the time, that they sold. So those were a really good pickup, and I was really excited because normally when I find baseball bats, they're typically priced up. So pay only $2 for each of them was really good. So I was excited about that. Next is this set of 15 books. These were the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. Again, didn't have any cost into these, at least not recently. These had belonged to my stepson. He just kind of outgrew them. He's older now, so he didn't want these any longer. So he gave them to us to sell, and they ended up selling for $38. So that's pretty cool too. Again, to not have really any costs into these, at least not at this time, and to be able to sell them for $38. And the buyer paid shipping, which typically would have been pretty expensive. I mean, this was a very heavy, set. When you get into sets of books, it's very heavy. But the good thing with books is that you can send them by media mail, which makes the shipping a lot cheaper, especially when it's heavier, like an entire set of books would be. So, worked out pretty well there also. The last sale I want to go over on eBay was this Jack George's purse. Bought this for $5 at a garage sale. Never even heard of it before. I had not heard of this brand. I knew nothing about it, but it looked like a good quality leather purse. And so I wanted to check it out and see. Well, when I looked up comps on eBay, it looked really good. So I went ahead and paid the $5 for it. And it sold for $64 on eBay. So again, you guys always, if you are not familiar with a brand or an item, go ahead and do research. Look it up. Just look at the comps on eBay, see what it has sold for, because you never know. You could be really surprised at what you might find that you didn't know. I mean, I've been doing this for several years now, and there's still things that I don't know. And I just have to look up the items and find out if it's worth it. And in this case, that worked out perfectly for me. All right, then we have two Poshmark sales I want to talk about. The first one is this Ralph Lauren button-up shirt. This was a bigger size. It was a 2XB. And we bought this for $3.20 at our local thrift store. And it ended up selling on Poshmark for $22. Not all Ralph Lauren is equal, and it doesn't always sell for a lot of money. However, when you find these bigger sizes in Ralph Lauren, that typically does better. You're typically going to make a little bit more off of it, and a lot of times it will sell a little bit quicker as well. This one did take a little bit of time to sell, so it wasn't necessarily the case as far as it, selling any quicker. But it did still sell for $22, where some Ralph Lauren might only sell for $10 to $15 anymore. I mean, depending on what it is. There's some that only sell for a really low dollar. So I was pretty happy to still get $22 for this. And again, I think the larger size really helps when it comes especially to Ralph Lauren. And the other sale on Poshmark were these Asics men's wrestling shoes. Paid $2.85 for these at the bins, and they ended up selling on Poshmark for $28. Asics is another one of those brands where you don't want to buy all Asics. Not all Asics are going to do great. However, I have found that this is one of the best kinds of Asics to buy, is their wrestling shoes. These wrestling shoes do really well. I have sold multiple pairs of wrestling shoes in men's and even children's as well. So I always keep an eye out for the Asics wrestling shoes because they do very well. Another Asics offshoot that does well, I guess, is Asics Onitsuku Tiger. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's another good thing to be on the lookout for when it comes to Asics. That's another one you're going to do really well with. So to me, those are the two best things for Asics to be on the lookout for. Not that no other Asics will sell, but those are typically the ones I look for and pick up because I have the best luck with them. So I guess that's it, guys. That's all the sales that I wanted to go over for this time frame. Like I've told you before, we do typically have a few more sales than what I go over in these videos, but I usually try to keep it around the $20 and up mark. Those are the items that I feel like are worth going over. So if you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below, and I will do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. And if you'd like to subscribe so that you can keep seeing more of my videos, please do. All of this, will help my channel, and it will help my video, and it will help other people see my video, and hopefully bring more subscribers to my channel so that more people can see this kind of content and hopefully gain some knowledge. So I guess that's it for today, guys. I'm going to get off here, do some work. So until next time, keep on hunting for that hidden treasure.